Hello and welcome back to Exothermic Plays Games. I'm Exothermic and the date today is Wednesday, November 6th, 2024. I've been doing a countdown of my favorite video games of all time through each day of the year, and coming in at number 56 is Super Mario Galaxy. Super Mario Galaxy may not be the highest ranked game with Mario in the title, but it is the highest ranked 3D Mario game. It's also my highest ranked game for the Wii, though I did record this with the Switch version. The controls work basically the same, with some very small button differences, and it's very important that they're so similar. The game starts off with Mario being invited over the castle during a meteor shower. It's a celestial event that only happens over Mushroom Kingdom once every 100 years, and it's beautiful. Just running around during this beginning of the game segment, it's as short as it is so wonderful looking, and I knew immediately back in the day that this game was going to be something special. And I was right. The festivities don't last long, however, as Bowser crashes the party, stealing powerful stars, kidnapping Princess Peach, and flying away, his usual stuff. But this time, in a spaceship. If the name wasn't enough of a hint, we go to space. Once there, we find the best princess, Rosalina, and get a tutorial on the actual controls. At the end of that, however, we find a big, huge star. This is called a Grand Star, and after collecting it, we learn that these power an enormous space station called the Comet Observatory. Rosalina lives there with a ton of little star creatures called Luma, and she looks after them as they migrate throughout the vastness of space. We learn that Bowser had stolen all of their star power, and in order to save Peach, we need to get it all back, thus also rescuing the Luma and Rosalina in their whole way of life. I love the Luma. There's a lot of great things about them. If nothing else, they are amazing for giving us the Luma in the Mario Bros. Movie, talking about the sweet release of death. I love that little guy. Oh man, funniest thing about that movie. We use different buildings, though, that we unlock throughout the Comet Observatory in order to select levels traveling to different galaxies we find that have power stars. The level design in Super Mario Galaxy is incredible. Some levels are really just a bunch of floating objects in space, and you traverse them with gravity shenanigans, or with star launchers you can activate by spinning. You can shake the controller, or at least with the Switch version you can press Y. I forget if there was a button on the Wii, but I shook the controller. It was fun. It worked. And so spinning can do a lot of things. It launches you out of those launchers. It can have you traverse like vines and stuff like that you'll see later on. It can stun enemies, so that way you can just run into them and auto punch them and kill them and stuff. But yeah, spinning, easy, fun. The controls are all easy, fun, and intuitive. There's a lot you can do with gravity on these, and you can walk around spherical surfaces that are like little planets, although some of them are really little. And as you swap around, you're getting unprecedented verticality and the most unique platforming of the entire franchise. It takes a little getting used to, admittedly, but once you've got it down, it is so much fun to just traverse the levels and just literally just move, that I don't even mind how easy many of them are that much. I simply adore the more floaty levels with all of these little doodads and things you just get to check out while zooming around with these star launchers, and you leave a little trail and you can like go from star launcher to star launcher and spin mid-travel to have like branching paths. It's great. But not everything is just junk floating in space. There are some more traditional 3D Mario levels, though don't get me wrong, you're still doing the occasional cool gravity things with them, but the individual land masses sometimes can be quite large. I really like the Honey Hive Galaxy, which is actually just the second set of levels you find. Galaxy introduced the bee mushroom, which gives Mario a bee suit and lets him fly. Bugs are typically a big no-no from me, but these bees are just adorable. And between launching yourself with dandelions, flying around and moving on honeycombs and doing lots of fun stuff, the platforming here is already some of the best in the whole game, and just loads of fun. If you try this game and you just play long enough to get to this second stage, and you're like, I don't really get it, you're not gonna like it. You can stop then. Sometimes, though, you just need to navigate to the right place to solve a little puzzles, to get stars. Sometimes there are boss enemies for you to defeat, but there are a lot of different ways to get these stars throughout the stages and other parts of the game. And the creativity they were able to put into this game, given the absolute lack of restrictions regarding physics, makes every single one memorable to me. As you get more and more stars, you may unlock extra puzzle or action galaxies that have one-off things you can do to get even more of them. For example, there's a race where you use the motion controls to surf. On this one, that's much more puzzly, as you need to light up every square while dodging obstacles coming at you from every direction. You get that if you light them all up. And then if you get enough stars, you'll unlock the boss stage of that galaxy. These are more traditional Bowser stages with far more lethal obstacles and higher enemy density, culminating in a big boss fight. The variety on the bosses is actually great, with a lot of creativity, again, regarding the 3D spatial components to the game and wacky gravity and other physics tools that you get to do. Super Mario Galaxy to me has the best bosses of not just any Mario game, but any platformer. When you get to actually fight Bowser for the first time as the boss of the second set of galaxies, it's a lot of fun to just head him off and knock him around after setting his tail on fire with lava coming from, I guess it's not lava, plasma, whatever, from a star. Each time you defeat a boss, you get another grand star, restoring more power to the observatory, opening a new room with a whole new set of galaxies inside. I quite like the observatory as a level selection mechanic, and as you restore more and more power, the Luma find more and more life within themselves. There's a handful of different types of Luma, by the way. They're not just star people for the sake of it. They're color-coded to different special abilities. Yellow Luma turn into launch stars, blue turn into pull stars, allowing you to do some really fun momentum-oriented puzzles. And there's a handful of very specific other colors that do pop up. But when I say they're very specific, I mean it's like, oh, there's a red one, there's 2 green ones. Very specific. What's really fun, though, is the Hungry Luma. You may have noticed that I've been collecting a ton of these little meteorites by putting the controller at the screen and just scooping them up. These are multi-purposed. The first and most obvious use is that I can shoot them at things, again aiming with the controller, often stunning enemies or sometimes activating switches and things of that nature. And while it's great to be running around and gunning and shooting and stuff with Mario of all things, by far my favorite part about this is feeding them to the Luma. They crave the star bits, and I crave watching them eat it all up and then turn into their own galaxy for me to run around in, on, and around. I'm doing my best to not make it weird, but I'm not sure it's working. My biggest complaint, and really this is my only complaint with the entire game, is that it's just easy. There are a few things that can get a little harder with some of the bonus puzzle levels, and there's meteors that can basically morph existing levels into something admittedly more challenging, like a speed run time trial, but ultimately, there's not a lot of actual challenge to the game overall. That being said, there are a ton of things to love about Super Mario Galaxy. It overall has my favorite level designs of any Mario game. It overall has my favorite music of any Mario game. It overall has my favorite gimmick of any Mario game. And the visuals are just so beautiful. I've always loved things with stars and space and nighttime, so why isn't it my favorite Mario game? Well, I'll explain that when we get there. Until then, you can join me tomorrow as I talk about my 55th favorite game where I, a child, single-handedly take down the entire mafia.